I apologize for the delay. You are just about to start the webinar. If you give me one moment to set up everything, we will start. I apologize with all the attendees. So, like every Friday, remember that we give this webinar. Remember that you can chat with us, and you can give me your feedback if you have any questions, and we will start immediately. Just give me one moment. Okay, I will start sharing the screen now. Please, I need confirmation if you see the screen. You can answer to the chat. Everyone, can you hear me clearly? Can you see the screen? Just a confirmation over the chat and we can start, okay? Okay, thanks so much for the confirmation. So we will start today's webinar is going to be about the task that you can do over the follow-up and how you can schedule those tasks for later to be done automatically by the system or that you can be manually done and how you will see those tasks on the completed or the failed task. So we will start by going for follow-up. Remember, remember these tasks are only available for those who has a professional type of account or a professional dialer account. So what task are you able to do with a professional account? First, you need to select the property or the properties. Remember that it can be done to not only one, but multiple at the same time. And you will see here on the send icon for those who has a small screen like me, it's all a group in this icon, but some of you will have all of this icons and emails, send SMS, send fax, and send documents in this arrow or in this menu over here. If not, it's going to be all grouped in this one icon. So we have 4 different tasks that you can perform over your follow-up. Those being send email, send a SMS or text message, send a fax, or send documents. Remember that if you have any questions, you can type it over the chat. Let me see if you have any question. Okay, no questions. I will continue. So I explained before we have 4 different tasks. What is the first thing that you have to pay attention before doing any of those tasks? Of course, is to check the contact information of each one of those properties. Because if you want to send an email, you have to make sure, of course, that that property has an email. If you want to send a text message, that property has a phone number listed as a cell phone number. And if you want to send a document like before, you have to pay attention that it has an email. So how do you check on that? It's by clicking over the property, go to contact. You will see all the different contact options, all the contacts that that property has. So in this case, we have James. and Westgate Plaza Incorporation. So why is important to check that? Because, for example, if I try to send, I think we have a question over the chat. Thanks, man. Okay, everything is everything good. Everything here. Thanks for the confirmation, Alice. Okay, let's continue. If you want to send an email with this property, in this case, I will not be able to do it because we don't have an email for this. Okay, we do have a contact of the phone number listed as a cell phone number. So in this case, an option it will be to send a text message or making a call. So let's gonna check one that it has everything. Normally, the best one are the ones that are for sale because agent normally has all the contact information available. So for example, with this one, we have two different emails and we have two phones. Although, as you see, not any of those numbers are listed as a cell phone number. Why is that important? Because if I try to send a text message to this number, it will not pass through the system. Why? Because the system will notice that it's an office number. It's important to be as a cell phone number. Okay? So I will show you how to send all the different tasks through the system. Let's gonna select any of those properties. Let's gonna select this one. Thought, we have cell phone, we have email. Okay, perfect. So how do you perform all of these tasks? It's by selecting the one that you want to use. We have first send email. If you select it, it will open the template email selection. Remember that you can have one or several templates of emails. The one that you have set as default is the one that it is first going to be show. If you haven't created any template, it will show the default template that we have over REIFax. That is this one. So you can first, if you need, you can customize or make any change on this one in particular. But if you want to do the changes over the template, maybe it's a change that you always want to do, then you need to go to your template settings on the left, go to your email template and start creating your own templates by adding a new one. Okay. If you have more question about it, about this one, we have videos that explain how to customize and create your own templates, all the different templates. So it's going to go back, send email. If you need to change the default template for a different one, it's just by selecting manage template, selecting the one that from the list on the drop down and select load. This one is one that I created. It's going to show. If you need to start adding or editing, you can do it from here. Hello, I'm interested. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, and start filling all the gaps. Also, if you need to add a variable, it's just by selecting variable on here and select the variable from the left list. For example, agent nickname. I'm interested and start filling all of those gaps. As soon as you're finished and the template is the way that you want it, it's just a matter of select send and it will be sent. Next, we have the text message processing. So it's similar to the email because it's going to be sent as an email from the system, but they are going to receive it as a text message over the phone. But this is important is that to let you know that this is a multimedia text message. Why I say you this? Because not all the carriers have these options available for all their customers. So the system will send the email, but if the carrier doesn't have this option available on their plans or on that particular customer, if they don't have the multimedia text message, they are not going to receive it. The system will fail. It will indicate you the error that the phone number is not a cell phone number, although it is, but that's escaped from our hands. That depends much on the carrier and the phone provider of the person who you're trying to send the text message. Okay? If you have any questions regarding this, remember that you can do it over the chat. But for several, is that this is not a problem. You can just select the template just like we did it before. You have several, you can select them from this list or use the default. If you need to do any change, you can do it over here. And this will be sent as an email and they're going to receive it as a text message. If you are wondering what number they are going to see, it's because this text, it will be received also with the small code at the end. By using that code is how the system tracks if they reply to you. If they reply you using that code, the system will track that reply. It will direct it to your email account, to your email inbox, and you will receive a reply like it was an email. Okay? So the system will populate that on your emails. You just need to download the pending emails. If you have questions about how to use the emails, remember that we also have tutorial videos that you can use. But it's just by selecting the pending emails over here and start downloading. If any of those emails comes from one of the properties that you have over the follow-up, the system will populate that and it will show you under this column a number indicating how many replies did you got from that particular property. For example, 1, 2, 3, depending on how many replies. And it can be a reply from an email, from a text message, for any of these tasks. So the last task that we have, if you're wondering why I'm not doing it, why I'm not sending, remember that we are not a realtor. I don't want to disturb anyone by sending a false offer. The last task that we have over here are the send documents. Remember that REIFax do not provide you with documents unless you are under the mentorship. But for those who are not, you need to upload your own contracts to the system. For that, we already made a webinar previously that explained how to do it. And also we have tutorial videos, but what you need to do is that you need to have that contract in a PDF file over your computer, okay? And that we give you a tutorial video and all those webinars, or if you need assistance, we can help you with it and how to overload that with the corresponding variables. But it's just a matter of selecting send documents, select the document that you want to send, if you have several, and start filling up this if you need it, if you need any change. If not, remember that when you upload it, you can pre-establish these settings, so it's not necessary to always be modifying that. You can check a preview on how the contract will look like if you need to do any changes, for example, or if you notice any error or something to do any correction that you need before sending. It will open as pop-up and a PDF file. You remember that for this, you need to have the pop-up enabled. Sometimes it takes a little bit on loading, but we will get through there. So you can check if all the verbs are populated like corresponding, like this, if that you offer is in there, all of this. Remember that before doing a sending of a document, you need to have an offer. I already had a one with this one. That's why it went directly. But if you try to send a document with a property that doesn't have an offer, for example, like this one, it will give you this um, warning that that the following property doesn't have an offer. So you just manually input it in here. Let's say 2000, for example. And just like that, you can continue with the sending like before. So after you check that everything is good with the preview, or if you need to do any change on the font or the letter, something like that, after everything is the way that you want it, it's just a matter of selecting email in here. And like we saw before, it will open the email template selection. You select the template that you want to use and send document. So it's going to be sent to the default contact, to the email of the default contact. Okay, any questions so far? Let's see, let's gonna check the chat to see if we have any question. Okay, no questions. So we'll continue. So it will be sent as as this the offer will be sent with this email and the document, the offer attached to it. If you are wondering who the default contact is, remember that you need first always check the contact information and check which one has this white start. This this is the one. This is what is indicating you that this is the default contact. Okay, every sending of email, text message is going to be done to the default contact. So it's necessary that you choose. For example, if I tell you that this is going to fail, we can try it so you see it. It's going to send an SMS, for example. It will give you the failed SMS weren't sent because we don't have any phone number for that one. The same goes if I try to send an email, it will also fail. But for example, if I go to the contact and switch over to brand that it has actual phone number and email, it will go through. That's gonna give you an example. I will add myself and apologize about the noise if you hear it. So it's just a plane. It's gonna give it a minute. Oh, well, 1 second. Okay, we can continue. I apologize for that. I will add myself to this as a contact so you see how that work in action, how it will work with me. If I assign myself to this property, see that I have all the phone contact and all of that, and I set as principal, now I will be able to send an email. The default contact and see one email where successfully sent. So these are the tasks that you can perform directly over the system. But you can also schedule those tasks to be done later by the system automatically. So how do you do that? It's just by selecting a schedule task over here. You have first two options: to be done automatically by the system or to be done manually by you. Okay, so let's gonna do it automatically now, and I will show you later how to select manual. So what tasks can be performed automatic by the system? The same one that we just saw: email, fax, document, and all of that. So let's go to select send a document to be done on, let's gonna say on Monday, on November already at 10 a.m. Let's gonna give it a description. First offer send. It's gonna leave it like that. Now just click create. It will take you to the document selection like before. It's the same steps. You do add anything that you need to add, change anything that you need to change. Email, select the email template that you want to use, just like before, create task. So now this property, it has a pending task that you will see here over this column, okay? That is going to be completed automatically on the day that I assign it to it. You can also do that with text message or just an email or a fax. This is how you do it with an automatic task, but you can also schedule to be a manual task. You want to keep a control, you want to have all the list of tasks that you want to do, but you want to do it manually, you want to do it by your own, you don't want to be done automatically by the system, you can select that and change that. can select to be manual, and you have more options. For example, you can do a call, okay, and expect to be receive an SMS or an estimated time of that. All of these make a note, for example. You have more options to do it because it is a manual option. So let's select manual and to be send an email. Hold on, let me move this. Okay. Send an email to be done. Let's say that in 2 weeks at, I don't know, let's say 12. A follow-up email, create. Now you just select, let's say that you create already a template for that with a follow-up email, create task. Why assigning as manual? Because I don't know if they reply to me or not, if the property changed or not. I just wanted to have there already set up. So I know that by simply looking at my follow-up that I have two pending tasks over here. So how do you test how do you check all of those tasks? It's by simply going to the task menu in here. You have three options: pending task, completed task, and failed task. What you can do over the pending task? Well, the name is self-explanatory. You can check the pending task that you have over the system. I have two, the one that you saw that I create. As you see, they have different icon indicating me that they are different type of task. This one be an email, and this one be a task. You have the description that I added, when it's going to be completed, the current status, the contact name that is going to be sent. This is the person who's going to be sent. In this case, is my name because I assigned it as a contact. The phone number, and this is indicating you which one are automatic by this lighting icon and which one is not, is manual. So what you can do over the pending task, first, you can select them and delete it if you change your mind. Well, you can print it or send it to an Excel file if you want to create your own list and have that control. Let's say that you have, instead of two, you have 100 pending tasks. Well, there is option to filter that by, for example, that if the task is manual or not, what type of task it is. For example, if I select, I want to see all the ones that are sending a document. If I filter, that is the only one that is going to show. If I want to select when I create it, or if it is automatic or manual, or even if you have, for example, assistant accounts, you can select who is going to be executed. So if the pending task was created by the main account or by the assistant account. So that way you can keep a control over all the pending tasks that you have and track the ones that you need to check in a really fast way. So what else you can do? Let's say that it's already November 9 and you want to do this one, sending an email, but this one is not automatic. Well, you can go and do it from the follow-up, yes, but this is a better way of doing it just by selecting complete. You can select execute and it's going to be sent at the moment, okay? It's going to be sent, it's going to be sent to the email that you already set up, or you can mark it as completed. Let's say that you want to be marked on the system that you already sent an email, but you don't want to be sent through the system. Maybe you have another system, or maybe it's a different type of a task, let's say a call, and you do the call directly using your phone and not with the system. You can mark it as completed, and then the system will mark it that it's already been completed, although it's not going to be done inside the system. If you have, and if finally, if you are wondering the status of the property, well, you have to check over the follow-up over here. So this is regarding of the pending task. The next one, that, any questions so far before I continue? Let's check the chat. I think that so far we are good, but let's gonna give it a minute to see if we have any question. Okay, no questions. Let's continue. The next tab that you have is the completed task, the one that were successfully. Hmm, It's gonna give it a second. Okay, let me refresh everything because I apologize. Okay, completed task. In here, you will have a list of all the tasks that you have performed over the system. It can be, for example, the sending of email, or if you do a call, if you have a professional dialer account, if you create a note, if if you added a property to your deal generator, all of those actions that you have done over the system, it will, and they were completed successfully, it will be added over here. If you need to check on more details, you can click over it and see the task details, just like this, when it was completed, the type, the task, the property, all of that. If you need to print it or send it to an Excel file, you can do it. If you need to filter this, like we saw before, for example, by the type, you can do it as well. Let's say that I want to check the notes. I will have only in this list the note that I created over the system. The next one that we have is the failed task. In this are the ones that for any reason it failed to be completed. For example, I tried to send um, a text message before, and the system will indicating me that it failed. So I just go in here, task, failed task, and by clicking over the task that it failed and check the task detail, I will see the reason why in these red letters. For example, this one, it was not a cell phone line. If I go to contact, I will check that contact. For example, I have to make sure that it's listed as cell phone. Why did it fail? Because the reason that I explained before, maybe some phone carriers does not have that activated on them. In this case, it's a different reason. It's because this number, the number that I have assigned myself, is an internet number. It's a SIM number. It's like a Skype or something like that. With those, the system will not see that cell phone number with that a person has. Okay, let's check this one. For example, the default contact does not have an email. So if you having a problem completing any task, you can go in here and check the reason. And by using the reason, you can contact with us to help you further in how to solve that situation. Okay. So finally, one thing that I have to show you is the follow-up history of all the tasks. For example, if I go to follow history of this property, I will see a list of everything that I have done with this property. For example, today I create a new task, an email will be sent, a document will be sent, an email was sent already. One of them failed, if I made a call or not, all of that is going to be shown. Also, you will see here any pending task only regarding of this property. So it is a faster way of checking the pending task of that property, just like this, with the same information that we saw before. If I have any failed task with this one, and if I receive or I send an email, it's going to be showing here as well. Okay, so that way you can track the replies, you can check what have you have sent to that person and all of that. Any questions so far? It's gonna give it a minute. So far we are good. So what we already checked that you can send email, text message, fax, and document through the system, and also that you can schedule those tasks for later. All of this is available for both professional and professional dialer customers, okay? But there is one that is only available for professional dialer, and that's, of course, the actual dialer and how to make a call through the system. It's going to be a quick explanation, but it's just as simple as selecting the property like this, make a call, select Plivo, because remember that we provide you with a Plivo number, select the contact type, make the call, and as soon as it will start dialing like this. If you have only one contact number, oh, my phone is ringing. If you have one contact number, it will start dialing immediately. If you have several, you need to select first which one do you want to call. And after you select, click over here and select call. Let me finish the call to myself. So now I have already this task be done. If I go to the task, completed task is going to be show over. If I go, sorry, to the historic of that property, I will have that added. See, made a call. You can also schedule a task with the calls, but in this case, with the calls, it only have the option to do it manually because you need to be there to do the call. Remember that with the dialer, the system will do not make the calls for you. You have to be on the computer and to do the call and talk to the person, to the people. So let's going to select manual, make call tomorrow. Well, let's say let's leave it like tomorrow, 10 a.m. Create. This is not necessary to add this. This is just to keep a control. I will show you. So now I have 3 pending tasks that if I go over here, pending task, I refresh, I will have this one also. That is a manual. That's why it doesn't have this lighting. So if I need to complete this, if I need to do the call, let's say that is already 31st of October and I want to do the call, complete it, execute, and it will take you to the same selection that before, make call. And now as soon as I finish, that is going to be marked as completed by the system. Any questions so far? You have to keep several clicks to finish the call. Not is going to start dialing again. Okay, stop it. So now let's go into check. See, it's not in here anymore because I already made that pending task. Okay, if I refresh, I have both of them in here. So summarizing, summarize everything. You can send email, send text message, send a fax. For this, remember always check the contact information that you have. You have all the contact that you need, all the contact information that you need to do any of these tasks. You can schedule those tasks to be done later by the system, automatically or by manual. If you have any pending task, it's not only going to remind you over here on your follow-up. As soon as you log in over this one in here, if you have any pending task, do it to today, for today, it will give you a number in here. For example, 1, 2, 3. So that way you will know as soon as you're logged in that you have any pending task to do for today. This is a remember that if you have any manual task, this will be a good recorder, a good remember for you. So you will go to your task and check them. So you can schedule to be automatically or to be done manual. If you do manual, you have more options to be done. You have the task tab over here that it will give you the list of any pending tasks. It's gonna delete those. You have the list of all the completed tasks, a list of all the failed tasks with a description of why it failed. And also you have the task of doing the call that it can be scheduled as a manual task. And if you need to check all the information of all of these type of tasks in regarding of only one property is by going to the follow history. And you have a list of all of that in here. So I think that we are good for today. I don't know if you have any questions. I will give a minute to answer any questions that you may have. Remember, if you have a question, it's by is by typing over the chat. Okay. Here we have a question. What about if I need to change the contact information? Okay, that's a very good question. If you need to change any contact information so you can do any of those tasks, it's just by going to contact, select the contact that you want to use, and click over here on edit contact. That way, if you need to add an email or change the phone number or any of these changes, you can done over the system. Yeah, let's see if we have another question. Okay, what if we don't have a contact information for that property? Okay, that's a very good question. If, for example, let's gonna select any of this one. Let's say that you want to contact this person and you don't have any contact that you can use. You, for example, with this owner, we only have the address. We always going to have the mail address because that's what they are obligated to input on paper. We not always have emails or phone numbers. Okay, without that information, you can do anything. So for that same reason, we incorporate a new feature that is in that is available for all the professional dialers account. Remember, it's only for professional dialer. And that is the skip trace function. It's just as simple as select contacts on top and select skip trace. It will bring you more contact information of the owner or any relative of the owner that you may need. Okay, I already did that, so that's why it was so fast. So before I only had this, but now I do have information of Michael, one of the owner, with several phone numbers that I can use, and the same with Raymond. It will bring you not only cell phone number, but some cases also emails and phone numbers, and not only from the owner, but from the relative of the owner that they have been living in that property over the past or share the same last name. Okay, so by using that function that is only available for professional dialer, you will have the option to have more contact information, so you can send emails, you can send text message, or you can send a document to it. Any other question? Well, it seems that we don't have any more questions, but still, I'm gonna give a couple, gonna give a minute just in case. If not, we concluded for today. Just gonna give it a 1 minute more, just in case. Okay, we don't have any more questions. I think that that's it for today. Thanks for being here, like all Fridays. Again, my name is Daniel. It was great to having you today. Remember that every Friday at 10 a.m. we give these webinars explaining a part of the system. Once more, I apologize for the delay and setting up all the meeting. And thanks for being in here and have a wonderful week.